Go.
Welcome to Københavns Erhvervshus YouTube channel, your company in Copenhagen. My name is Jonas Varsted Kirkegaard. I am your host on today's program. On the agenda today is a company so global in scope that it has a majority of internationals and no fewer than 34 nationalities in total. Learn more about that and get inspiration if you are about to hire one or several internationals in your company. Feel free to ask all the questions that you would like in the chat, as after I have spoken to my guest in the studio today, we will answer as many of your questions as time allows. Much like variety is the spice of life, a staff of many different cultures and backgrounds enriches the work life. This they know at robotic company Cobod, where 58% of the staff are internationals. My guest in the studio today will shed light on the benefits and possible challenges of having many different cultures under one roof. And that brings us to you, Susanne Bach. A very warm welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You are Administration and HR Manager at Cobod. And I think it's safe to say that Cobod is a company a bit out of the ordinary. So perhaps to start out with, you can tell us a little bit about what it is you do.
Yeah. Well, as you say, I'm Administration and HR Manager in Cobod, who is a company that makes 3D printers in a huge scale, so they can print houses. So we have a lot of focus on robotics, and therefore a lot of talented engineers and architects and material people and so on in the company. And the majority of my time I spend on when we have new people, so the recruitment process and the onboarding process. I help people settle in well in the company.
And what are the benefits of such a diverse workforce, would you say?
Well, first of all, I think it gives something to the everyday atmosphere. There is a lot of curiosity, positive curiosity, where people, because there are so many, there is a huge openness actually to ask people of where they are coming from, where they are in their life, and how they have settled, and so on. So it brings a big shared topic to talk about, and I think that's good for the environment, but also on the task side of it, or the more technical side of it, it gives us an advantage in we can look for talent all over the world. Our main focus is talent, competence and dedication, and if we are not very particular in where we want people from, then we can go out and find really high quality people.
So like I said, at Cobod you have 39 nationalities in total. When you onboard your internationals, do you do anything in particular to ensure that everyone ends up pulling in the same direction?
Yeah. I will not say we are thinking so much about that we do anything special for the internationals. We do the same for everyone. But when looking into it, I can see, of course, we have many things that is focused on settling here in Denmark. But everyone who's starting with us gets a different onboarding material. So they get a run through of the history of the company, but then they also get a document about the communication style and the atmosphere we would like to have, where there is both illustrations and written text about the Danish way, if I may say it so, with the very flat hierarchy that everyone has access to the CEO. And I think that's some of the things that can be a little bit confusing for someone coming here. How does this work? Yeah, and then we have, I send out to all new people an organigram with pictures and names of everyone, so you can actually see who can I reach out to if I'm in need of anything. And usually people can also tend to see the diversity there, so you can see, okay, is there anyone that I can feel related to, and of course also what they are working with. And And then we have an onboarding event once every third month, approximately, when we have a new bunch of people, where they get an introduction to the different departments and what they're focusing on, and everyone gets to meet the CEO and hear his whole story of how did this company build up. And I think that all helps getting on the same page from the beginning. And then we have a lot of Friday bars. So people can have some social interaction also, and we really focus on supporting that.
Okay. Are there also challenges attached to having such an international staff, and if so, how do you tackle them?
I don't feel we have a lot of challenges with it. Our main thing when we hire people is that everyone speaks English, no matter where they are from. So we know everyone is more or less, or at minimum at a certain level at least. But then I think we are back to the flat hierarchy, or you can go directly to the CEO, but also some people find it a little bit. We have a very direct communication here in Denmark. There's not much beating around the bush, and that can be challenging for some. But I think we talk about it, and it's okay. One thing we though focus on is. We really try to tell people when they start, also in the onboarding material, you're allowed to make all the mistakes you can, but you have to share them. So you cannot walk around, hide them, and that can be a little bit of a challenge for some. I can sense, but again, then it's something we really communicate about, and I think it's smooth in that way.
Yeah. And did it change the staff dynamic in any way when the internationals became the majority at Cobod?
Not that I have noticed, but first of all, I think they have been the majority for quite a while, so it's not something new. There has always been this international focus, even it's not a focus like that. It's about the talent. So I don't think it has changed a lot in the dynamics, but of course it affects our everyday life because we are an international company. We do speak English, and that is expected from everyone.
Did hiring internationals benefit you in terms of your franchises in Asia, the Middle East, Africa, and the Americas?
Yes, for sure, but also it was an active process of starting. We have an office in Miami, and we have an office in Kuala Lumpur that opened a few years ago. So everyone we hire out there, they come to Denmark first for 3 to 6 months. So they get into the culture, they get into the product, and they get into the colleagues, because even though they're sitting out there, it's still the colleagues across the world that they are working with. So it's something we are focusing on very much when we hire people out there.
In terms of attracting international talent, do you have any advice for Danish CEOs who may not be very experienced in this?
I think we have been quite fortunate because we have a product where we're the world leader. We are ahead of anyone else in this field. So in that way, many people are looking at us. So whenever we put job ads, I think we get more international applications than Danish. But when that is said, we also have some focus on it. Of course, we have several cooperations with different universities around the world. For the technical part, partly, so one university are looking into robotic arms, for example. So then we want to do a cooperation with them. Another one is doing something maybe about material. We are focusing a lot on concrete and how we can make it more sustainable and so on, or make it more locally usable, depending on where you are in the world. And then, of course, we want to work with all these different specialists in that. So therefore, we have had some nice setups with universities where then we get interns here, and now they are coming on a regular basis, I would say, and several of them we have hired.
And lastly, a very big question, if maybe allowed to take us up in the helicopter here, so to speak. The number of highly educated internationals living in Copenhagen is rising very fast. Do you think it will fundamentally change the way that Copenhagen does business? And if so, in what way?
Yeah, that's a very good question. First of all, it's already happening. So in one way or the other, we will go into that direction. I also think that the younger generations are even more international. We have a quite young workforce in our company, and even there I feel this outlook to the world. It's not only us taking people in, but we're also experiencing some of our interns who then go a semester abroad. So I think there is a much more of this focus. But if it will change how Copenhagen do business, I don't know.
All right, Susanne Bach, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and experience about this.
You're very welcome.
That is all we had time for. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, you are more than welcome to subscribe on our channel by pressing the little bell icon. Then you'll get an automatic notification next time we are live. That will be on May 13th, where Emilie van Houwen will talk about Generation C, who are just making its way onto the job markets just now, and more specifically, how you recruit, lead and retain that generation. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and see you in Copenhagen.